Hello and everyone, welcome back to another episode of Roster Review. This one is extra special to me because, as usual, I do roster reviews for my friends, but this is a friend from a long time. He is from my original alliance, so I've known him for quite a while. He has a bit of a name change, I guess, because of current events. Alright, so he's in P2 right now. 19 million. I have to say, I think the last time I was in alliance with him, I think you were bigger than me, so I guess I caught up. He's got a lot more like that. Oh my goodness. Well, are you the MVP champion? I think you're the current reigning champion of MVPs for my roster reviews. Somebody might have beat you, but I think as far as I can remember, and you're doing well in arena. You're doing better than me anyway. So this is pretty good. This is a good start, to say the least. So he was telling me that his goals are to finish Dark Dimension 5 and to be able to one-shot every node, Doom raids, and get back to the top of arena rank. So let's see what he's got. Okay, so first off, 5 yellow, 5 red, Morgan Le Fay. Good job, congratulations on that. That's delicious to see. Next, these are the kind of characters that you would expect. Oh, finally! Finally, somebody who respects Captain Marvel. Okay, she's not 7 red, level 85, you know, gear 16, but you know what? You gave her some love, you have her favorited. I could appreciate this. We're off to a good start. So far, this is the best roster I've seen. No, I'm just kidding. Good job for that, and this is what we should see all the time, but aside from that, I mean, these are the kind of characters you'd expect to see maxed out. I'm a little wondering about Punisher. I'm guessing you pulled a 7 red recently, and you decided to put some love into him, right? And that's fine. I mean, there's other characters you could prioritize on, but that's not. I mean, 7 red, he still hits like a tank. But what's going on here? What are you? No, Boddugh. Boddugh, this is not 2019. The defenders are not meta. What are you doing here? Okay, I mean, I know they have. Okay, she's obviously building her up for like A-Force. I get that, right? But like, why is Daredevil here? And why is, like, okay, whatever. I don't know what's going on here, but something's going on. Squirrely girly. Alright, so it looks like you basically got your Young Avengers, so you got your Scourge requirements, and you have your Darkhold team that you're working on. So that's reasonable. That is reasonable. Alright, Kestrel. Good choice. I'm waiting to gear her up myself, so good on you for that. Adam Warlock. Cersei at 6 yellow, 6 red. Delicious. And you got Icarus too. Alright, let's see if you're actually in City yet, because I mean, this is 4 right now. It's 3 Cosmic, 1 Global. There's 1 City here, but we're kind of jumping ahead of ourselves. Emma is, the thing with, by the time you get to Global, I think that's when whatever you have available starts to determine who you gear up. If there are a lot of mutant characters that are priority to be geared up, so like I personally didn't do Emma, but I almost did. She was on that list. So like this isn't a bad choice by any stretch, and you know, Boddugh being an endgame player, he already had Emma maxed out, like, you know, years ago, right? So it's good use of resources anyway. All right, so we got Shang-Chi here. You got to blitz harder, my friend. Blitz harder, because at this point, you know, you should have him at 7 yellow. Now he's even cheaper from the grocery store, but still, blitz harder. That's what I want to see. Okay, so we got another city. So far we got 2 cities, and that's good. Spider-Gwen is a good choice. He built up his symbiotes for Doom. Okay, so we got another global. I think this is bad RNG. I mean, I can't fault you for that. That's got to be bad RNG at this point. We have 3 city. These are very good choices. I brought them myself, so good choices there. Okay. Why did you bring Luke Cage? Why did you? Okay, dude, seriously, what happened here? Hold on a second. Okay, so here we have Tana's number of mini uniques for tier 16, and if we see Luke Cage here, 36. Well then, you know, this is interesting because Luke Cage, people were bringing to Dark Dimension 2. He was meta. One of the metas. A lot of people were bringing like variant BKT teams with Fury and such. He was considered a contender for Dark Dimension 2. And I mean, he's had a bit of a rework, Heroes for Hire, so I mean, I guess that makes sense. Spider Junk, unless you have the full team and he's on raids, he doesn't really do much for the party. I know a lot of people, like myself included, brought Spider-Man up. So we brought these two. And then Cloak. Cloak has a lot of good utility in it, so he's a very good choice. And then Shang-Chi, who, not the cheapest choice. I mean, Punisher would have been cheaper, but Punisher goes down really quick. He's squishy, even your 7 red. So it's still a bit of a surprise, but you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, he's putting defense up on everybody. He's got a taunt. You don't have the biggest Luke Cage, but you got Fortifier. I'm curious how that went. I really am. I think that's not a bad idea. I might actually recommend that to people if they have decent red stars on him. You're not really going to get much use out of him elsewhere. I mean, that's another thing to consider, that if you look at, like, I mean, there's a couple different schools of thought here. People are saying bring all the web warriors, but I'm like, man, my web warriors were doing what I needed to do on Doom 2.3 when they were gear 14. So it's not like I really need to take them to 16. So, yeah, okay, well, that's interesting. It's nice to see, like, new ideas like that anyway. Omega Red is looking good. 7 red Sabretooth. I mean, this guy's pretty deadly in his own right. And he's really cheap. I would have liked to seen you bring him for global. The problem is he shares a mini unique with Shang-Chi, but it looks like you have enough for that. And that's your last city. He is cheaper than Cloak. I feel like Cloak provides more utility, and I use Cloak every day in the raids over Morbius. But I mean, there was that Scourge event that you probably got good use out of him. And who knows what's going to happen when that 5th team gets added. So, I mean, there's not a bad choice by any stretch. Like I said, I think that Cloak did blinds and disrupts and all this stuff, right? But he puts a lot of bleeds, and he kind of keeps himself alive too. So, you know, it's not bad by any stretch, just different. Okay, now I gotta ask. You got your Punisher built up, or you're working on him. You're working on JJ. You gear 16 your Luke Cage. Your Daredevil you're working on. Why did Iron Fist get left below? That's my question. I mean, I'm not telling you to prioritize him. I'm just like wondering what happened there. It looks like you're building up your defenders, but you forgot all about him. And Heroes for Hire, you're gonna want him built up. I mean, then you've already put all those investments in the other characters. I guess that makes sense. Like your Colleen Wing. I mean, it's not the biggest Colleen Wing, but it's respectable. Your Misty Knight, same thing. It's a very respectable one. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's so many counters. That team is probably not the best to be investing in them right now. But then it's the same thing, like your Ghost Rider, and we can see your Elsa peeking down there. So you're not using the Dark Hunters, I'm guessing. So you must have just got through the Scourge event without these Dark Hunters, because I mean, gear 13, it's a little disrespect. I think if you got your Dark Hunter, I mean, they're a good team. They're a very good team. If you got this Morbius that built up, you know, it might not do some harm to gear 14, these guys. Wait for the Scourge events to end, though. Yeah, I mean, Elsa, 5 red, G13. G13 almost adds nothing to it. If you take her to level 75, she'll get all that focus, all that resist. And then you gear 14 her, you're going to see her stats jump up. It's pretty sweet. Like, look, even gear 14, you're Ultron and not your Elsa. Thor is rumored to get a rework, so hopefully you'll get some justice. But man, you got a lot of 6 reds. Now that I see this, like, it's like everywhere I look, it's like 6 red, 6 red, 6 red. Let's not jump too far ahead though. There's a big crunch for Mystic right now, so I wouldn't advise you to work on your Black Panther, but I bet you're excited about that 6 red. I'm looking forward to that. It's interesting to me how, like, I see a lot of lopsided teams here, and what I'm pointing this out, I mean, I can understand, like, people have Shang-Chi maxed out on their Heroes for Hire, but not the other ones, because it's a war defense team and they use him in the raids. Like, that kind of logic, I totally understand. What I'm getting at is I noticed your Magneto is G14, 5 red, and then we come over here and I see your Blob is a peasant. I see your Pyro is barely built up, and we can see Toad down there. I'm not going to tell you to build up your Brotherhood. You could have done that so long ago, but like, we recently got asked in the Alliance about certain characters, like, you know, do you max one out or do you take them all up? And I think having 5 G13 characters is useless. I'd rather have one at G14 and the rest at G12, to be honest with you. You get more bang for your buck that way. But like, I mean, you can put his passive here, you can't even put his passive here. You know, at least level 64. Something to keep in mind, right? That if you have like a 400k Brotherhood 2, but you have 140k Magneto, then you don't really have a 400k Brotherhood. You know, like, you can't do the same things that a more averaged out team could do. So again, don't start working in your Brotherhood too, but just kind of keep that in mind, right? Now, with that said, if they're doing what you need them to do, then just leave them be, which is a very good rule of thumb. So now that we've got in here, I mean, these are the kind of characters you expect to see, like, left below. Like, they don't really provide anything to it. Like, there's minions and stuff like that. I mean, they just got their rework, so of course you didn't build them up. And I'm surprised to see your operative so low. Just because he's such a long-time player, not because she's some secret meta or anything like that, right? Let's take a second here. So he got through city. We got 1 global. Okay, so we got 5 city and 1 global. All right. You did 1 skill tech. You did 3 mystic characters. You have 1 mutant. And you have 3 bios. You had Lady Deathstrike as well. That's 1 tech. So you got a lot of things to move around with. Now, what people are typically bringing is they bring Carter because she's cheap, and they bring Captain Sam because of his utility. Now, getting Aunt Robin is really helpful too. The problem is that you're already short on skill, and that's 3 in a row, so I could see that being a bit of an issue. Personally, your 7 red Sabretooth, bring him. You have all the gear that you need. He is so cheap. Let's take a look here. Like, look, 18 mini uniques for him, and like I said, people were bringing him before he got the rework. I mean, like for Dark Dimension 4, people were bringing him and he was just kind of a body. Now he's actually really deadly, so you know that's really gonna help you out. You, like I said, you have enough gear for it, so that'll help you. And then you got Emma, so that's 2 mutants. You probably don't want to do any more than that. You have Lady Deathstrike, who is a tech, so you're missing 2 more. Definitely don't want you bringing any more mutants. I don't want you bringing any more mystic. Doom you could bring because you'll just get use of him everywhere else. I don't want you to bring Corner or Voodoo. I don't want you to bring any bio. It looks like you're short probably on mystic for Doom, so he's not really an option. So yeah, you got Lady Deathstrike. So I'd like to see you to bring Doom and Captain Sam. You are lacking a bit of a healer, like without Aunt Robin. But you have Emma, who will kind of keep herself alive. You have Sabretooth, who heals himself. You have Lady Deathstrike, who is really good at dodging and like with her evades and that kind of stuff. Doom's got a bit of a healing. Captain Sam, he's kind of good at putting deflects and stuff on people. So I mean, you're gonna be hurting without Carter and Aunt Robin. You're gonna be waiting forever if you try to gear them up. And you'll use Doom in the Doom raids. I mean, he's for tech. He's still currently essential, and I mean, like people are using him in other game modes like very well. So, I would suggest that to you, judging on what you have on your roster. You basically, just like I said earlier, you want to use what you have the most of, right? So that's what I would suggest for you. Then for Cosmic, I mean, you're doing pretty good here. You got Kestrel and you got these 2. Like you're gonna rip through it. From what I'm understanding, if you have these 3, then it doesn't matter who else you bring. You could bring the cheapest ones that you could find. And looking at here, I mean, you got Space Black Panther, and he's awesome, and he's really good in that mode, and he's 36. So that's attack. What I'm doing, I'm bringing him, and then I'm gonna bring Ravager Stitcher. Take a look at your Stitcher. All right, so you haven't built them up. That's understandable for sure, but you got 5 red on him. That's not bad at all. That's what I have. And like I said, he's really cheap, and those 2 really work well with each other. You got the Striker on him, you got Skirmisher on Space Black Panther. You're going to see some interesting results, and they're really cheap. I can't emphasize that enough. That would be my recommendation to you for Cosmic. That team again is Space Black Panther, Ravager Stitcher, to go along with your Cersei, Icarus, and Kestrel. So yeah, honestly, aside from that initial confusion with your Luke Cage, which I really do want you to tell me how that went for you. I'm very interested in that. Aside from that, and a couple things I pointed out about some of your lopsided teams, I see you're doing really well here. I would have to be grasping at straws to find things to kind of try to go after you for. Like, it looks like you prioritize your raid teams and you got the maxed out levels, and so I mean, at this point we're lacking a real tech team, and the mutant team is really outdated, so it's skill dependent and RNG on those nodes. But I think that you get through this, you'll start, after you get through Dark Dimension a couple times, you'll be able to teal gear some people, we'll get some better teams. I think you're doing really good, man. I don't really have much advice to try to impart on you, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that you gave us to show off your team. It is looking pretty sweet. and I'm looking forward to see what happens to you in the future. So thanks, man. Thanks a lot. And that's where I'm going to end it here, guys. There's not much else more to say to that. When you have something that's working and it's working well, don't try to fix it. So yeah, guys, I hope you all had fun. I know I did. And remember, guys, I stream Monday and Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. And then I jump on my friend's channel where we play Monster Hunter Rise together. So yeah, guys, I hope we see you again. And have a good night.